Right, so we'll get started. So for those joining us, we'll take all questions and comments in the chat box. You can utilize that for connecting with us. And I want to first of all thank you all for joining us on time. For those who made it on time, I know a couple of persons will be coming in a little couple minutes late. So I want to tell you a little bit about YBTT. So we're a youth support organization focused on that 18 to 35 age grouping, and we focus on training, mentorship, and providing funding for young entrepreneurs starting and developing their businesses. We've decided, as most of us are either businesses probably in hibernation or on our way to moving online, working from home, to kind of have a webinar series that would deal to the effects of COVID-19 on your business as well as you as an entrepreneur. Right, so for today, we want to thank Aldwyn Wayne, for the CEO of WiPay, for joining us to have a webinar. And just as a disclosure, we're not going to go too much details in terms of how you go about signing up on signing up as a WiPay account and those things. It's really trying to understand the entire concept of going online and doing payments and the payment solution of the online world. Right, so with that, I'll pass you on to Wayne, and he's going to give an introduction about what WiPay is all about, a couple of their accomplishments along the way, and then we'll dive into the session itself. Wayne?
Shadran.
Yes.
That's me?
Yeah.
I'm on?
Oh, you're on.
All right, good. You should have sent a hat for my email so I could look smart like you. Baba, miss me, Baba. Anyways, thanks for having me. My name is Aldwyn Wayne, and as Shadran said, I am the CEO of WiPay Caribbean. WiPay, we started WiPay about 3 years ago to fill this need that we had in the Caribbean for online payments. When I graduated from school, I came back and I realized that we still were very much cash based. We payments were always point of presence. We had to meet someone to make a payment. Although I had one or two businesses online, we still pretty much was a cash-based society. And with that, we decided to create WiPay to help move along that process of getting the Caribbean more within the online space, to conduct business. The need for me for trying to push or lead this charge was for inclusion. For entrepreneurs. I'm an entrepreneur. Came from an entrepreneur family, and I always saw the internet to be the greatest equalizer. You don't need to have land, real estate, anything. You could start your business today. Once it's a good product, people will support you. The problem always been, how do you get paid? So from an entrepreneur standpoint, creating an online platform that will allow anyone to get paid, for their goods or services, was something instrumental for me helping entrepreneurs. So that's the genesis of WiPay, and why we decided to bring online payments as a thing to the Caribbean.
What are some of your recent accomplishments with WiPay? I know we have a couple of slides. I don't know if Jonathan wants to kind of scroll through first.
Yeah, so on your screen right there, that's Sasha. She's our COO. She's actually in Guyana, launching WiPay and Caribbean Airlines initiative in Guyana for payments of your airline tickets. So Guyana's a little bit new to the online space. They still very much cash based. So what we did for Caribbean Airlines to sell tickets, airline tickets, but they want to sell it online, we created a WiPay network that will allow Guyanese to use their WiPay voucher, buy it from any post office or base Kennedy location anywhere in the country, and use that online to pay for your Caribbean airline tickets. That product went over well because credit card penetration down there was about 2%. And and every town had like a post office or a WiPay location. So it allowed Caribbean Airline to sell airline tickets online without using credit cards. So that's what you see there. That's the launch of that. Oh, this is a party. I don't know if this is anything you want to talk about too much, but this is our memories. Had a sponsorship of Cass, Tuesday on the Rocks. To go over to the next one. I'm not too sure why they sent you that one. This was our We Day event in November, where we announced some partnerships with Republic Bank, who acquired a bit of the company, well, a subsidiary company at that. That announcement was made by Denise from Republic Bank. I think we sold them 19.9% of a subsidiary company. We also announced partnerships with MasterCard and Visa cards and acquisitions at that point in time. Something that for me was tremendous, because we were the first to bring online payments. We were touted as the Caribbean PayPal, and then to have companies like MasterCard and Visa card not only come to our events but acquire or partner in a investment way, spending their money into a company that's out of Trinidad, was exciting and humbling at the same time. Let's see what else. What's the next one? All right, so that's our terminal. Very proud of those. Those were actually designed and manufactured. Well, it was manufactured in China, designed by us. It's in our view the new way of accepting point of sale transactions. Instead of just swiping a Links card and making a single payment, imagine you could go to a terminal, select any business that's listed on WiPay, and swipe your Links card and pay them directly. So I go into NP, and instead of just paying gas, if I need to pay my YBTT membership, I just hit YBTT on the screen, swipe, and the money goes to YBTT. So it's a multi-use, multi-function terminal, which is version 2 to the traditional terminals that you see. Do you guys collect? I'm just playing. Next slide.
Well, we don't collect any membership fees as yet.
But when you do, you can use our terminals again. I'll tell you right hand side, for CPL last year, we did a pilot with Republic Bank that for the carrier boot, you don't have to work with cash. You could tie your funds to NFC band that you'll be on your hand. And when you go up to the carrier boot, you just tap on the same terminal and the funds will come from there. So you don't have to walk around with cash or your credit card or your wallet. It was PIN enabled, so if you lose the band, it was still protected because you had to put in a 4-digit PIN. But yeah, that was at CPL last year. And that's what you see on the right. Left hand side, that's the Rebel launch, that we're talking about, All
right, so I mean, you talked about in terms of what change WiPay wants to bring about into the world in terms of getting persons online with regards to payments, right? What I want to know from you, from your perspective, why is it important for entrepreneurs to be online, even before this whole COVID-19 situation? Why do you think it's important for them to be online?
So, like I said, I came from an entrepreneurial family, and spending time, developing businesses. Cedrus Cable, Line Communication, all those businesses were companies that I created. I found it, difficult, for entrepreneurs, especially in the Caribbean, to take off. Think about it. If you start a business or want to start a business, you have a good idea, it's damn near impossible to get a loan from the bank to start your business or get financing from investors, because you know what, they want you to have collateral to even give you a loan. The same collateral that you're looking to get, they want you to have before you can even start thinking about getting funded. So it's very challenging, in the traditional sense, being from the Caribbean and trying to start a business as an entrepreneur. The steps and the challenges you need to overcome was tremendous, right? But like I said, to me, the internet was the greatest equalizer. You know, you look at the billionaires that's been created in the last 20 years, and none of them were legacy wealthy people. You know, the Facebooks, the Ubers, the Amazon, they're all first-time billionaires, right? So what changed? What changed from being you know, I mean, someone like a Rothschild to how a first generation person can now be a billionaire? It was the internet, right? Because you now have the reach of 1 billion people, 2 billion people, you know. But the thing that, you know, stopped us from doing business in the Caribbean was getting paid. So for my passion for, you know, doing and creating business and entrepreneurs, you know, to move their business to the online platform or technology based where you can now interact with hundreds, if not millions of people, you know, the challenge that remained was to get paid. So from my point of view and our point of view, if we could fix the payment challenge, you know, we expect and expected and happened to see a growth in entrepreneurs taking businesses online, growing their businesses because now they have a means to get paid for their goods or services.
So, I mean, our typical entrepreneur that usually comes to YBTT usually has a product, and or they probably have what do you call this, a mom and pop shop or a brick and mortar store, right? In terms of where they sell their products from. So I'm thinking of, I'm a young entrepreneur. I want to move to that online space, or I want to take my business to the next step. If you had to think about really about 3 different advice or 3 top things to think about when you go to that level, what would it be? Or something to think about?
Yeah, definitely. So I would actually say the other way around. Instead of trying to, you know, build your brick and mortar and then take it to online, start from online. It's cheaper anyway, right? If you start from that point where, you know, it's the least part of resistance, you know, let's say your mom and pop shop that you said, the entrepreneur, he makes t-shirts, right? If I have a physical store, just people in that geographical location is the one that you can sell to. Right? So if it's San Fernando and it's 100,000 people in San Fernando, that's your customer base, essentially. But if you take that same t-shirt that you make and you list it online and you share it on Instagram, share it on Facebook, share it on all these sites that you know, push your product, you now have a catchment pool of 1 million people in Trinidad and Tobago, Barbados, St. Lucia, Jamaica. There's no stopping. You just select where you want to market it to. And you say, well, you know, that's difficult. How am I going to get my t-shirt to Barbados? You don't have to. Once you receive the payment, you partner with FedEx, you partner with UPS, you partner with TT Post. They will come and collect it at your door and deliver it to Barbados, right? You factor that cost in and you let the guy know, okay, it's shipping from San Fernando to Barbados. But you now have an audience across the Caribbean. The internet is now your marketing tool and your logistics tool. You're just responsible now for making the t-shirts and having it ready for when FedEx comes to pick it up, or TT Post or UPS. The overhead is just the cost of the t-shirts that you're making, compared to a brick and mortar that you have to pay rent, power, staff, and then you could only sell to people who could walk into your store. So I would say, whatever you're good at, you know, base it around technology, use the internet to get it sold, or, you know, or to sell it, use WiPay to collect your payments. And then, you know, you could start looking at, you know, moving into a physical store if you see the need for it, you know. But if you look at trends, you know, first world countries are closing stores down, you know, Macy's, Walmart's, Kmart's, they're all closing down. Why would I want to go to the mall when if I need a fancy WiPay t-shirt, I could go online, buy it, and have Amazon deliver it to me, same day delivery at 3 o'clock.
It reminds me of a discussion that we had yesterday when we had our demo call about the way the business world has been changing, right? And it's now focused on, entrepreneurs should be focused on providing services, because a lot of the product development is going to become automation. You want to elaborate more on that for me?
Sure. So it's kind of built off that first question that I just answered when you said, mom and pop shops, making something physical, and that's where, entrepreneurs come from, and that's where, how do they look at the future? And yesterday in our conversation, I said, focus on service. So to that example that I just gave, we took out the logistics, the management from the actual selling of a t-shirt, and you focus on the service of delivery, of moving from creating the t-shirt to having it delivered. Now, once you create that connection as a brand, so let's say the t-shirt company is called WiPay, and I create that connection to the customers as a brand. Customers would always comes back to my website to purchase this WiPay t-shirt, right, which I'm making right now. If I scale up and everyone across the Caribbean wants this WiPay t-shirt, I could remove, if, so let's say it was me and the wife making the t-shirt, I can now go out to China and have it mass produced, but still deliver to my customers efficiently because they really come to the brand or the company that's making the WiPay t-shirt. So it gives me the ability to scale once the focus is on, the relationship and the service that you provide to the customer, right? And that, gives you a bit of resilience, in the event that, let's say the scenario again is my wife and myself, if we go our separate ways and she was the one actually making the t-shirt, I could actually go buy a t-shirt and have it printed and still keep my customer base because it's the service I provide of moving t-shirts to the customer and not selling t-shirts.
All right, so I hope that doesn't put you in any hot water because your wife may be listening to the online.
He's with the kids.
All right, so I mean,
I looked to the left before I said it, right?
So we talked about why is it important for companies to go online. Do you have any examples that you can probably share with us? Persons either using WiPay or persons probably using other online platforms that you can see that taking payment online has it increased your revenue for your business?
Revenue for my business?
Well, for their business.
Oh,
Since they have a reason for going online.
Yeah, I could use one right now. That's huge. The judiciary of Trinidad and Tobago. So I'm not too sure who is maintenance payers or payees listening right now, but traditionally the courts were all cash based. So I'll use you this time. Let's say you and your wife or your ex-wife has a situation, you go to court and you need to pay, or she needs to pay you $500 a month. The thing is, the court that was heard in, let's say it was heard in Point Fortin, every week you need to go back to Point Fortin, and she needs to go back to Point Fortin once a week, stand in line for about an hour to make the payment, and then you have to stand in line for an hour to receive the payment. So every week you have to do that. Now imagine this was a matter that was held in Tobago and you now live in Chaguanas. Would you spend money to go to Tobago to collect $100 a week? It's going to cost you more to get to Tobago. But that's how the system was. The court the matter was heard in is the court that the payment had to be made at. Now that court pay is now online, you don't have to leave anywhere. You can make that payment, or she can make that payment to you right now. She could take a credit card out. She could find like a Massey store or UniPad or one of these places that we sell WiPay vouchers, and she can make that payment. So she don't need to take time off to go to the court. Take a day off of work. She could just get this done instantly. And the greatest thing about it, to bring it to COVID-19. The courts are now closed, 100% closed. The only way people could get their maintenance payment is through the online medium, whether it be with credit cards or with cash that you convert to a WiPay voucher. And that's the new normal for the court pay people.
Right. And I know we didn't want to go directly into WiPay, but I got a lot of questions coming in terms of what WiPay is all about and how does it work. You think you want to dive into that?
Yeah, we could dive into that. You know, I was trying to make it as neutral as possible, but if you want to dive into WiPay, yeah, let's go for it. You know,
right. So I mean, that's kind of tell us in terms of I'm a small business, right? I currently do cash, or persons would have to probably go into the bank and do a deposit that shows up in my account and send me the receipt. I really want to get my business or payments to my business online, right? How is WiPay one different from somebody that's doing a bank transfer to me?
right.
And on the other end, what steps do I need to take to get my business onto probably WiPay?
So WiPay is a service provider, right? We provide you with tools that you can embed in your existing website that would allow people to make credit card payments. That payments would then go into your bank account, right? So let's say you have a website, you could download the WiPay plugin and you could put that in or on your website, and then you'll just see the MasterCard, Visa card logo. If you're an Instagram seller or Facebook seller, you could actually just create a WiPay account and then have a schedule and cruise link to a value that you could send to someone on Instagram or WhatsApp. When they click that link, they pay with credit card. Like I said, we also have the WiPay option. That's, you know, for, it's only live in Jamaica, Trinidad, and Guyana. That you could buy a top up, like a phone card top up, let's say Digicel or Flow, and you can make that payment online in that credit card box. But instead of a MasterCard, you'll be entering your WiPay top up number.
All right. And so I mean, I want to jump off of WiPay for a sec, right? And we want to get into the entire business community going online, right? What do you think needs to happen in the near future for us in Trinidad and Tobago to go forward?
You know, so we Trinidadians don't take nothing serious, right? COVID-19. It took a pandemic, right? We had a lot of businesses, you know, trying to get online, big businesses, corporation, governments trying to get online. But now, because, you know, everywhere is shut down, it's not an option. You know, it's not, you know, something that you would like to do. Unless you're online, you can't collect payments. Unless you're online, you can't make payments. So it's now a necessity that your business has an online payment attribute so that you have a continuation of your service.
Right, and so it's so what needs to happen? Does education need to happen? Does the entire back-end system of Trinidad needs to happen? Do banks need to get on board? I just need to know from you what needs to happen with our entire ecosystem to get everybody to buy into the idea that doing payments online is the right way and becoming more digital is the right step for us.
Like I said, I think the banks they've done their part, well, somewhat. And from our customer base, you know, just Trinidad and the whole, I think, you know, 80% of us know how to go buy something on Amazon. So from an education standpoint, I don't think that we don't understand how to do online payments in Trinidad. You know, the facility to make online payments, the Visa or MasterCard, is something that's, you know, a bit of a challenge for everyone to get, you know, until we launch our Rebel card later this month. But I think once everyone has that utility that they could use to make a payment online, adoption should just grow organically, because outside of Trinidad, everyone knows how to make a payment on Amazon.
All right, so I mean, you kind of let the cat out of the bag and let me say my next question in terms of the Rebel card, right? Let us know a little bit about it.
Yeah, so just like we paid when we started 3 years ago, we wanted to, you know, have businesses get online by creating this plugin that you just put on your website to allow for MasterCard and Visa card and WiPay payments. You know, we soon realized, you know, we had 10, 20,000 people, businesses sign up, and boom, okay, we have WiPay or we have MasterCard and Visa card. but why my sales are not going through the roof, Aldwyn? And I'm like, well, we need now to give the customers credit cards or debit cards so that they can now come and pay. So phase one was to have all businesses or most businesses online, or have a mechanism so they could get online easy. Now, phase two is to give general public a utility to make payments online. And that's the Rebel card. So it's going to be a prepaid card that is not attached to like a bank account or a credit account. So there's no risk. You only spend what you load, but you have the same utility of a credit card or a debit card.
Right. So it's basically replacing having to have a credit card, right? Is that correct?
Well, I would not say replace.
Okay.
I would not say replace, because I do have banking partners. So I would not say
Right.
But it's the complement.
Complement. Okay.
Credit and debit card. Credit card for one would give you credit from the bank. So credit cards are the bank's money, right? Debit card is your money that's in your bank account. Our prepaid card is money that you load when you want to make an online payment. Mm-hmm. So those two are a bit difficult to get, because a credit card, you have, credit check and requirements that the bank needs you to satisfy before you get a credit card. A debit card is going to be tied to a debit account, so you need to have a full bank account to do that. Our card is a lot less stringent in terms of acquiring, because it's not going to ever be the bank's money, right? And it's not going to hold your bank account money either. It's just exactly what you want to spend. So you online and you need to pay tea and tech, and it's $500. You transfer $500 from your debit account to this, and you spend just that $500, or spend it online wherever you want to spend it. So you're more in control of spending. It's a security as well for your bank accounts, because again, you load exactly what you want to spend. So if your card ever gets compromised online, you're not worried about someone draining out your debit account or running up your credit, because you load what you want to spend.
Right, because when we had our first webinar series, we spoke about navigating the digital landscape, and the entire question of e-commerce came up there for Trinidad and Tobago, right? Especially one of the challenges that I think was presented is trust, right? We're quick to go on to Amazon and purchase from on Amazon anything that we want, but do we have that local trust in businesses that you would quickly go into a small business, see them online, and make payment for their goods and service there? Is this something that you think is holding back our e-commerce or going online for payments?
So, and that's a good point, great point actually, and that brings us to our service. So normally, you would trust Amazon because the back of your mind, they would put in necessary steps to protect your credit card information, to protect your payment journey. So for small businesses, what we offer is a hosted page. So let's say your business is Schedrun.com. When you go to Schedrun.com, I go through that journey, but when I hit pay, we navigate you away from Schedrun.com to a hosted page that is certified by both MasterCard and Visa card, that collects the payment information, processes, and if you're successful, it then sends you back to Schedrun. So you don't need to trust Schedrun with your credit card information, because he doesn't touch your credit card information. It's all handled by banking infrastructure, a hosted page.
That's what disclaimer. You can trust Schedrun. Just in case.
Schedrun.com.
Right. So I guess the whole comfort of safety and security is provided by the platform, as opposed to the organization, or the entrepreneur they're dealing with. If that's
exactly
okay. All right. So go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to add to that point. For online payments, website needs to be PCI compliant if you want to host the credit card information, all right? And since that's a costly endeavor, this is why you have the hosted page option, where the payment is not managed by Schedrun.com, because for him to get PCI compliant, that's time, a whole lot of money, just to store credit card information, which you don't want anyway. So the service is especially designed for entrepreneurs who, just have a website and need someone else to handle the processing for them.
So, I mean, at YBTT, so one of the things that we're going to schools and I just want to touch a bit on education and probably what needs to probably happen within our education system here. That's to get persons to go a little more, let's to go a little bit more on the technical side of the business aspect. Because we treat technology as an industry when we believe at YBTT it should be treated as an add-on. Right, so for WiPay, we wouldn't see you're a tech business. You're in the financial solutions business. You just happen to be using tech as a way of getting that solution, right? Is that correct? Can I say that?
So it's the other way around. We are in the technology business.
All right.
And we just specialize in financial solutions.
All right. So in essence, technology has to be merged with something else to be beneficial to, I guess, to anyone, right? In that sense, right? So what do you think needs to happen within our education system to now get the younger entrepreneurs coming up to want to get into this sector of using technology with anything that I want to do? So even if I want to do, and well, doubles is the hot topic for last week. Even if I want to sell doubles, right? How do I look at technology as a way of developing my business model around that? So if you look at our education system right now, what changes do you think need to happen?
So I'll leave our education system alone. I have a personal gripe with that. So I would focus more on what you're doing, stuff like this. People need to see that it is possible. It is possible for you to run an entire business online. It is possible for you to create a company and provide service all online. All right. The reason why I think we've been so much focused on brick and mortar, clothing businesses, food outlets, because that's what's in our face. That's what we know. That's what we see. You grow up seeing fast food restaurants or clothing store, and you grow up liking the clothing that you see in the store. So you want to do the same thing, right? But there's no real tech company we're in the Caribbean that you can look at and say, okay, I want to be like that. So just because where we start from, it starts us from that point of being always wanted to follow something that we grew up liking, and what we grew up liking is what we had or what we was exposed to.
All right.
How we make that change or that shift is by highlighting companies like a WiPay or a Tilton Finance or Chef Made. These online businesses that exist 100% online, so we can influence and encourage entrepreneurs that's in this group to run online businesses. And I think that's how we will get that shift.
I agree, because we had a question online, and I'm hoping you could help us here. Just around an initiative that you're looking at doing in terms of professionals, doctors, lawyers, who wish to offer their services online, and they can get probably instant approval on things using social media platforms like WhatsApp and Facebook, right? I don't know if it's too early to kind of answer those kind of questions, but they kind of want an explanation in terms of how you plan to get this done.
We already have over 100 people sign up on that in the last 2 weeks. So it's not starting.
So I mean, let us know a little bit about it.
Let me give a shout out to Dr. Ames and Victoria Clinic. A couple of them who came on early. But yeah, no, it's simple. So like I said, WiPay was in the business of getting your website online. But a lot of these doctors, they don't have a website to get online. They just want to sign up, send the invoice to their patient, and receive payments. So if you visit that concierge page that the attendee mentioned, you would see if you're a doctor or a lawyer, all you need to do is take a picture of your driver's license or passport, a copy of your medical certificate, and that's it. You're approved because that's the KYC information, right? Once we have that bit, then you now have a platform that you can log on to. You put your bank account information on there, and you can send invoices via WhatsApp, email, social media, and people could pay right within that invoice. So you don't need a website or anything like that. And that's out like the last 2 weeks. And like I said, we over 100 doctors and lawyers already.
All right. And is it that the person will be verified by WiPay as
Yeah.
I guess an approved person to be used?
That's why that process we use your sorry. That's why we use your medical certificate or your legal registration number, because that number is tied to KYC information that we normally collect when we were signing you up in the regular format. So this is how we streamline the process by using existing KYC information that's tied to your either your legal registration number or your medical registration number. And that's how we get that instant approval, because those are things we could verify.
And I guess the what makes WiPay special is that it's still building trust. So even at the medical profession, you can trust persons who are actually using that that platform, because they have been vetted or they have been approved persons to know that it's not just, well, Chevron.com, right?
Exactly.
Exactly. That's it. Right?
And that's why with Chevron.com, we would require Chevron to submit his 2 forms of ID, proof of registration, and incorporation documents. Because I need to know that you did your bit with someone that I could trust, which is legal, the Office of the Attorney General. Where does registry fall under? But anyway, when you register your business, we know you did your due diligence there, and that's why we would take your certificate of incorporation as a method of KYC.
Right. So I think it's similar for all persons in terms of in business. So the business has to be a registered business to be on WiPay in that sense, right?
No, the thing is, even if you're a sole proprietor, we'll take that,
But it still has to be registered.
Yeah. I mean, you could get that done in a couple of days, right?
Yeah. Right. So just to make sure that we have some, because I think the entire drawback from going online totally is really trying to figure out, can I really trust this business? And it all comes back down to that. If I don't trust this business, it becomes difficult for me to, especially when money is involved, to utilize this service. So what has been some of the major questions coming at WiPay in terms of next steps?
So for WiPay, like I said, the next steps would be pushing this card out to everyone. For businesses to participate in online commerce, besides having acceptance, besides having the ability to accept the payment, clients and customers must be able to make the payments. So for WiPay, the next year would be trying to push our prepaid Rebel product throughout the Caribbean, so everyone could at least say they have an instrument to make an online payment. And what we've done is not only put it in the traditional physical space, but in the virtual space. So you could actually have a card on your phone, in a matter of minutes rather than weeks, having a card emailed to you. So we are hoping to bring first world products to the Caribbean in that prepaid card space. Anyone that's on and is familiar with stuff like Venmo or Cash App, it's the same thing. If you have a WiPay card and I have a WiPay card, you can just send money via my card. I don't need to go online and transfer funds. You send money to my card, I go to ATM, I spend. Oh, I get the cash.
All right. So I mean, we have a couple of questions coming in directly about WiPay, but I think your website is pretty detailed in terms of how to go about setting up the course and all those different things. So I don't think I would want to directly raise those questions here. If anything, you all could email us directly at YBTT and we can get those questions, or put you in contact with someone at WiPay locally here to answer those questions. But I mean, a lot of our entrepreneurs, I know things like upmarkets are becoming a trend where a lot of entrepreneurs try to sell their products and service there. You spoke earlier about your terminals, right? You got a little bit of details in terms of how do persons access the terminals, or how do you utilize the terminals?
I'm glad you mentioned upmarket. For Carnival, we had Soca Street Festival. They had an upmarket, and the following week, they had the next one in Napa, and I think it was like 200 terminals we had out there, and we give it free to those users at the upmarket, because the value is collecting your money. It's a one-off thing. So there's no way, I'm going to try to sell you or rent you a terminal for one day. So for those people that, you have up markets, we definitely would work with you, the owner, the organizer of the up market, to give everyone a terminal. You know what I mean? They would just type their bank accounts in that terminal, so the funds would go directly to them. But yeah, that's something we'll definitely do just to support. We won't rent you terminals for a day or 2 days. Now, if you have a business and you're looking for a long-term solution, then we have some commercial rates that you can check on our website May 1st for terminals. Right now, our terminals are all being given away for this COVID-19 period. So we are not providing any commercial terminals at this point. We are looking at May to go back into that commercial business.
I'm hoping that's a good sign in terms of more persons going online.
Yeah.
I mean, we spoke about technology. You're in the scope of technology. I got to correct this time. You're in the industry of technology. So if you're advising a young person, a young entrepreneur getting into business, what are some of the technology advancements, initiatives that they should be looking at right now as the next step in terms of where the world is heading?
Right. So if you're still trying to figure out, and this is just me, if you're still trying to figure out what what road you want to take in terms of your business, if you could navigate towards services as much as possible, because that's something that's not replaceable by robots. That's not something that you can outsource to China. I would make sure and build any business that I'm going into around delivery of a service rather than a product. Delivery of good service, good customer service to my customers rather than a product. And I would use tools to make sure that I deliver that good service. So CRM tools, online management tools, all these things are available for you to use. So you don't need to hire a huge staff to manage your business. You could have all these software as a service, pay as you go type platforms that would allow you to manage your business from one person, but you could coordinate 500-600 customers with a good CRM tool, online CRM tool. Payments as well, if all that's automated, you could have 500 people paying you at the same time, where you don't have to worry about creating invoices or settling or any of these things. You could just focus on providing a good service. So I would say whatever field you're going into, look out there for technologies that can help you make sure that you can provide a good quality of service, and focus on that bit, because in the back of your mind, know that everything may be going down a road where automation would replace a lot of physical manpower, labor-intensive type things that you probably would be doing when you now start your business. So focus on delivering a service rather than a product.
And I guess getting in terms of the technology advancement. So at least do some reading around blockchain, AI, automation, and those things, so you can better prepare yourself when you're looking at developing your business or your product or service in that end. Right. So I mean, we're just looking to wrap up. And I know we have a lot of questions around the actual how do you sign up, but I know again, folks, the website is really pretty detailed. So I wouldn't want to go into that in too much detail. But any advice or recommendations for young entrepreneurs?
Yeah. What I would say to everyone who's locked on right now, is this is all opportunity. If you think you're an entrepreneur and something was holding you back all this time, you work a 9 to 5, you didn't have the time. You have the time. You have the time right now. Take this time, perfect your craft, read up about it, use the internet, get all that you need to know about whatever it is that you're trying to sell or trying to do, and then put something out there. At the end of COVID-19, if you have something out there, then it's all worth the entrepreneurial journey that you are on. If at the end of this you have nothing, well, then maybe you should stick to a 9 to 5, right? This time that you have in front of you is the time that you normally wouldn't have, and you'd probably blame for not getting your stuff off the ground. Get it off the ground, whatever it is, even if it's in the simplest form, get it off the ground, and then use that feedback to get it better. So, when we started WiPay, my developers, myself, I think it was me and one developer, we would go back and forth. What is the product that we wanted to put out? And we spent 6-7 months going back and forth before we put something out, because we wanted it to be perfect. But the thing is, it would never be perfect. It might be perfect for you, but then the 80 other people that's going to consume your product may not like it. So what we did was put something out, and then based on what the feedback was, we adjusted, we fixed, we pivot to make sure that the product we put out there is something that the consumer actually wanted and not what we wanted. So put something out there. Now's the chance. Now's the time, and take this opportunity as an opportunity to start your own business.
Right. And one last question, just to make sure that you acknowledge WiPay and the work that you've been doing. What makes WiPay different? Right. If you think about, because I know a lot of e-commerce right now, they're using PayPal, right? What makes the WiPay different from in our local context and overall as a business in terms of its model?
You get me on Zoom. So what makes WiPay different is just that we are different. We are from the Caribbean. I'll use PayPal as you compared us to them, or compared us to PayPal, I should say. They're great. They're a worldwide company. They're who we, strive to be like. But the thing is, they're a US-based company. So that means your transaction has to go through the United States. That means, as an entrepreneur, you need to create a US account. You might like that, but what about customers who's based in Trinidad, whose credit card don't have US balances, or credit cards have a fixed US balance that they will save in to do something, on Amazon, and now I'm buying something from Chevron in San Fernando, and the payment is not going to go through because there's no US availability on my credit card. Right? And the whole is just a forex drain on our economy anyways. If you're a Trinidadian, you don't want to make a payment to Chevron, who's in Trinidad, in US dollars. And the second you use PayPal, every transaction is going to be US that the banks need to find to send to PayPal. So that's one. Two, again, being local, you have the ability to contact, work with directly with WiPay. You have the ability to request special APIs or special discount rates. You're doing an upmarket. We can provide that service, right? So being here and being just a Trinidad market company or Caribbean market company, we then can do specialized rates. Our rates are 3% compared to PayPal, which I think is like 5.4, right? Again, it's basically having a company that's on the corner, company that you have accountability for, versus a company that it's not from here. And then we can settle in any bank account in the Caribbean anyway. So I think that's the one that kind of tosses over the edge. If you want your money and you don't want to wait 30 days for it, or don't have to open a US account, then resettle in any bank account in Trinidad.
Right, so it looks like it's online payment solutions for the business, the banks, and the customers in that end, right? So full services on WiPay. So folks, this brings us to the end of our webinar. Just a reminder that we continually have our webinar series. So next webinar we're going to focus on Wednesday next week. We're going to focus on building that resilient mind as entrepreneurs go into this whole state of probably hibernation for most businesses, and in some cases they're actually getting more business than they're used to. So how do you build that resilient mind to outlast the current situation? We want to again thank Aldwyn and WiPay for really coming out, and again with WiPay you get to see Aldwyn on on our webinar. That what makes them different, right? So it was really good. What we will do, I know persons ask us a lot of questions in terms of what does the transaction fee look like, how can be integrated into websites. I didn't want to get too much detail into what WiPay is all about, but we could take those questions. We're going to take it up. We'll contact someone in WiPay and we can send out those answers to you all directly because we have you all registered from here. But you can also check out their website, right? Again, it's pretty detailed, gives you all the information that you need, right? And you can provide it from there. So, Aldwyn, any final words?
You need to sign up for WiPay. Send me an invoice and let me buy that hat off your head.
Right, I have plenty, so I can I can give you for free. In that sense. All right. So thanks for coming out, folks. And we will record this, so you can tell your friends if they've missed anything. We will post this by tomorrow or next week. Yeah, so good luck and see you all next week. Thanks again.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, guys.